Welcome back to that build. Today is part 2 of going over the absolutely horrible Toyota MR2 here, seeing everything that was included with the car, find out everything that's missing, and seeing just how bad it is underneath. It's going to be really bad. So realistically, it's not too bad, give or take. For the most part, majority of the parts that were inside the car, not bolted in, it's covered pretty much 90% of what was missing. There is still the tub liner which would have gone in here and a few other bits and bobs, but realistically I've got both carpets, which is great, so the back and the actual interior, center console pieces, headlight surrounds, just looking at the stuff still on the floor as such, but the plastic trim that goes across here, some of the underguard panels as well. So for the most part, it's a reasonably complete car, which is great. The bones of it too don't seem too bad. I've still got to really do a pressure wash underneath because there is a ton of mud just clumped in areas. But what I have noticed just from looking around, yes, there is a light surface rust here and there, but it's not overly bad. So inside the floor well here, it's all straight. It doesn't look like it's ever been in a collision as such. I dare say, if not the original bumper, then at least the bottom section has had some sort of impact with that fog light being damaged, but maybe just came perfectly into contact with a small branch or something. I don't know, but anyway, doesn't really matter. Apart from that, again, air conditioning is completely out of the equation, except for, I don't know what it's called. I think it's called the accumulator, but I'm probably wrong there. The cylinder with the sight glass on it. The condenser in front's gone, the compressor at the back's gone, the hoses are still there, or lines are still there. I might just do away with those completely. I've got a very small thought whether I go through with it, because I do have that original surround, given it's got that aftermarket intercooler setup, was to put that back, get an oil cooler for the back there, and then run a water to air intercooler setup. So have the radiator potentially at the front, so run the coolant pipes all the way through in place of the air conditioner lines. I know this is getting overly complicated, you could just do it in the back, but just train of thought process. I'm just thinking ahead here in terms of potentially what I can do. I think the meat and bones of this car isn't too bad. It's just really dirty, grubby, looks down the dumps, but again, for what it's worth, I don't think it's too bad. In here, a few pieces missing, main concerns being a couple of grommets. The heater pipe tubes and the steering column does not have the grommets to seal, so Kreider's just making its way into the cabin. Interestingly enough, I've noticed the heater pipes. I thought they went completely under the car, but in this situation, they go through the cab here, and the metal is actually exposed, so radiant heat just makes its way into the cab, into the cargo area. I know these things are, you know, not heat proof and all that sort of thing, got a radiator right here, but I thought it would have been mostly radiant heat against this, not from the pipes being literally inside here. It's interesting design choice, Toyota, but anyway. But yeah, overall, I mean, missing the washer jets, they need to be replaced obviously, but for the most part, headlights around here, that's great, little covers there, so at least in here it'll look 90% complete. The little cover thing, I might maybe get that replaced. Interesting little modification here with a horn relay. I think maybe they've tried to bodge up the power steering relay, because I know they can be a bit iffy, but yeah, I haven't even investigated that yet, but yeah, there's definitely an aftermarket relay factor going on here. Anyway, in the boot, it is pretty much the same sort of story. So dirt and craps, surface rust here and there, but there's no holes, there's no even pinholes, there is nothing. So it is a solid base, which is great news. The odd thing's been disconnected here and there. I think this is for the antenna, which I'd really like to remove the antenna. I'm not going to put a radio back in this car, so speakers will be going out, radio antenna can go, but I'd need to find some sort of plug for the wing because it is kind of integrated. So yeah, I'll have to investigate that one. But there's loose wiring over by the side here, and it does seem to be connected somewhere. I can't figure out exactly where, but there was a couple of taps off the ECU. So they've obviously done something at some point in time. But, oh, hang on. Okay, oh, all of it. There we go. So, I don't know where this used to live. It was just kind of crammed behind there, wedged in there, but just seeing that down out of the corner. So, I don't know what brand, but once upon a time this used to have a boost controller in it. It looks very factory, like the plug connections look very factory, but yeah, all these little wires have been cut since, which would explain the couple of tap-offs on the ECU happening. So yeah, at some point in time this has definitely been clocked, but yeah, that won't be going back in. I don't think it even works anymore. But yeah, yep, there's a wing there. Yeah, I mean, a few little things unplugged which can be put back on. All the plastic clips seem to be here to put the carpet back in, so a really good thorough clean, a bit of a spray just to fix up all the little rust spots here and there, vacuum out all of the dirt and remaining foam bits, because they stuff foam in these cars from factory. And I do notice that the rubber flap for the breather, recirc area, I've no idea what they're called, down the bottom here, anyway, it's missing a chunk of rubber. So whether I find another one of those or just half bodgy it up. The rest of it seems to be there. I think it's just one or two little panels, so just cover them over just so it's not completely breathing in dirt all the time as such. But yeah, again, decent result. The only bad thing with the boot is the wing is completely split all the way through, so that does have quite a lot of flex to it. I was noticing it kind of buffeting up and down the highways driving home, so I'll be taking that off, kind of plastic seam welding that up, and just, yeah, a light sanding, bit of paint, and whack it back on, really. The interior. Reasonable good news with the interior. All round, I mean, the carpet's here, the little center console cubby boxes there, that's where that went. Just took the T-tops off, and then one of the little clips came down, and it looks like this little clip here is actually broken, partly. So, yeah, that'll need to be replaced, because I do need T-tops in summer when the sun's blowing through the car. But otherwise, yeah, radio missing, but it does have that nice little water cup holder and the little storage tray, which is quite funny because I actually bought some aftermarket cup holders knowing this car from factory didn't have them. Having that little storage tray now, I'm going to put that in just because it is a factory piece, was original with the car, and then put a couple of gauges on top here. So it has two in this kind of center bit arrangement, but I'm going to slightly modify that, have three here, and that should do me really. There's not really enough room to mount another one on the column here as such. I'll possibly try. But yeah, just the usual stuff like oil pressure, oil temperature, air fuel ratio, and boost. No boosters I've got in the gauge, I'm going to modify that. I don't know, there's one more I've forgotten about now, but anyway. So yeah, replacement steering wheel, replacement driver's seat. This one might just really clean up and put a seat cover over the top of it. It'd be very soon I'm going to have a passenger in the car for this one. Dashboard, unfortunately, is a right royal mess, and I think it's literally just going to have to stay that way. I can't seem to find a cover for them, not in right-hand drive anyway. I did see a forum post about one once upon a time, but yeah, if I go to buy one that's left-hand drive, that's not going to work, so not really sure what to do there. Again, not a dire issue. Mirror, I'll be replacing that. I've just got a broad view mirror to go on top of there. Sun visors do have, they're a little bit chewed out, which is partly annoying, but they'll function. Just gotta make sure the hinges actually work. But again, just a nice thorough clean up through the car with this, I presume, foam mat or something that's on here. I've got to remove that. But overall, again, not too bad. The shifter does need a bit of work. Finding first gear I found a bit of fun, and it's just very wayward. This is, of course, that's not nice. Yeah, so it does need a bit of work, and this whole center console moves at the same time. But yeah, I do want to completely upgrade the shifter to a nice aftermarket Racer X one, because they are really quite, you know, it's pretty much what I'm going for, really. The bushes as well for the transmission. I don't think I need to replace the cables. Long story with that one, I won't go into that one just yet, but yeah, I think I should be okay for the cables. I think it's just the bushes in here causing a bit of issue. But yeah, clock works. Speedo doesn't work. The drive in the transmission is gone. Boost gauge doesn't work. Temperature gauge doesn't work. I have a temperature gauge here at least. Tacho does work, that's one thing, and fuel gauge seemingly does work as well. Fog light switch is irrelevant now. But yeah, again, good wins. Got a glove box. I haven't checked the T-tops yet, all the surrounds on those. That'll be for another one. The one thing that did come with the car, which I'm really happy about, was these folders, which we saw me pulling out of the car, and what I actually found these to be is more or less the entire workshop manual, everything, and right down to pulling the engine apart, which is just absolutely fantastic. It's kind of not really all together. It's got like, this one here is fuel cut RPM, ECU wiring, connectors, resistance, nice. EFI main relay inspection, blah, blah, blah. This one's troubleshooting starter, starter assembly, clutch starter, E153 transaxle removal and component parts, and funnily enough, I just had to randomly turn to this page. there's the actual part number for the speedo driven gear, which of course is what I need to replace in order to get the gauges working again, or at least the speedometer working again. So yeah, brilliant. This is great. So what's this general? Oh right, the coilovers. So yeah, setting them hard to soft, that's extremely difficult. What else is in here? Oh, okay, more. So engine mechanical, so description 3SGTE, 5SFE, so for the American market as well. Cylinder block, timing belts, cylinder heads, variable valve induction system. Yep, okay, cool. I presume this has to be more then, so MR2 speedometer sub-assembly replacement how-to guide. Yep, there we go. I have seen this guide online in a forum, and I knew the speedo didn't work. They've literally printed it out. And then we got a listing from 2ZRUS about manual boost controller installation instructions. Ooh, that's interesting. I wonder if this thing does have a... Because yeah, this did seem to pull real hard, more than I thought it would have for just 220 horsepower. So maybe it does have a tap going on somewhere. And I mean, it did at one point have that boost control, which I ripped out because, yeah, it's definitely been tweaked. Yeah, removal of turbocharger, inspection of jets, ignition switch. This is just a whole heap of, I mean, really useful stuff. It's got a couple of diagnostic codes on here as well. So code F128, TE1, check fuel pump, BFP, page 87. Okay, so yeah, obviously they've done a bit of work in the past on this thing solo, which is brilliant. So yeah. To the crux of it now, more or less the plan of attack for this thing. So in no particular order, because realistically it's just going off the top of my head, things I need to address, things I will be doing, and things I will potentially ignore but will do in the future. So again, not an in-order list, but most crucial I'll be addressing, and then stuff that I don't really need to worry about too much I'll tackle down the road. So number one, of course, is just the cosmetics, the general cosmetics. The car looks really average, looks really shabby. So of course, just making it look a little bit cleaner, nicer, going right over the body, scrubbing it up, bonnets, probably address that in some form or fashion. Guards and all that sort of stuff, like with the wrap on it and whatnot. I do want to get rid of it because it is unsightly and it is just peeling and tearing in places, but for now I'm just going to clean it up. All the stuff that's overhanging, sagging off, pulling away, I'll simply just cut that off with a sharp edge and leave it at that. Interior needs a thorough going over. It is disgusting in here. Yeah, just clean every single surface, vacuum, pressure wash these carpets. Seats, this passenger seat in particular, because there is a couple of tears in the seams and like that, it's just going to get a seat cover. So I'll just thoroughly clean the seat itself, seat cover over the top of that one. Drive seat I will be replacing, and I think you can see in the background maybe. There is a Sparko back there on my Porsche replica build. So that'll be coming off that. That was never going to stay on there anyway. And there's also a, I think it's a Momo, other replacement Momo on that, which I'll put into this car as well. Again, this steering wheel has been chewed to crap. So both those will be going in here. I will need to buy a subframe, like a seat subframe assembly. I've got the sliders and the actual seat and the side mounts on that Sparko. So all I really need is just the base plate to bolt it onto this chassis. So nice and easy on that one. I will also be adding a harness, 6-point harness. So that's another thing as well. 6-point, 5-point? 5-point. Anyway, shoulders, bottom, yeah, that one. And then otherwise, that should be interior reasonably well sorted for that. There are other things in the interior, but that'll be another thing as well. So electrical, going back to that. So gauges, getting the gauges fixed, speedometer especially, temperature gauge, boost gauge. Again, it's a vague gauge anyway, and no one ever rates it regardless. You can fit a, I can't remember the name of the brand right now, but a really small one which fits nicely into that space. I may go that route just so I don't have to worry about having a separate gauge for the boost, because there's literally a spot for it right there. Why not utilize it? So I dare say I'll be doing that. So that'll be in itself the fuel gauge, speedo, tachometer, engine temperature, and then boost for the actual cluster. The additional gauges I'll be adding, as kind of mentioned before, I'll do the oil pressure, oil temperature, air fuel ratio, and I think I may also do transmission temperature. I'm not decided on that one yet, but I do kind of think I want to go that route. I'm just going to figure out, I can mount 3 gauges easily in the center console with just a DIN slot. The 4th gauge is a question mark. I don't want to mount it on the pillars. In our state, it is illegal to mount them on the pillars for whatever rhyme or reason. There's no, you know, it's fine in one state, not in another, and it's all that way around the world. Why it's okay in some areas and not others, I've never understood it. But anyway, whatever. So yeah, 4 gauges there. I may have to slim it down to 3, just because, unless I find a 2-in-1 for 1 gauge, which is a possibility. So that'll probably sort that. Otherwise, engine. Now, with regards to the motor itself, actually electrical, not just gauges, so gauges and all the electrical gremlins in the car, so all the wiring that's here and there and cut and hacked, and there's stuff in the engine bay as well. Now, engine bay. The leaks, obviously, so the oil leak and the water leak going on. I do believe that is from the hose from hell on earth, and the O-ring from behind the oil filter, or the oil filter itself. Otherwise, the car needs a complete fluid change regardless, so realistically, at the end of the day, it's not really going to do that much more, you know, to take all that stuff out and then replace it. Engine mechanicals wise, otherwise, there is still the factor of the timing belt. I haven't inspected that yet, haven't even got to that point in time. This is a non-interference engine. Can you see where I'm going with that one? I might not change it. I'll have a look. If it's starting to shred, I'll change it. If it's not, I might just send it for now, because unless it looks really, really bad, I'm just going to leave it. And then once the car hits 200,000 Ks on the odometer, then I'll do a change. So if it makes it that long. It's 170, nearly 178. Since the car was last registered, it's, let's say for argument's sake, on the average it used to do, it's shy of about 150 Ks off that. And I drove it another about 150, no, more than that. It would have been about, okay, so let's say it's 600 shy off the odometer then. So that's not too bad. So that'll be more or less engine. Wheels, tires, unfortunately I do like the look of these wheels, despite the fact they're reps. They are the wrong size for the rear. The fronts are a 17 by 740, which is a nice fit. I really do quite like it. The rears, however, are also a 17 by 740. At the moment, it's a square setup, front to back, 215/40 all round, which is not ideal. The rears do need to be wider, and therefore the wheels accompanying that too need to be wider. So I do have potentially a set of wheels lined up, which will be going on this, and then get the accommodating tires to go with them. So 8s in the front, 9s in the rear, width-wise. That is obviously sticking at 17s for a reason, and that'll be again stuff down the track. Brakes, they do actually have, and I will get to that down the track as well, they do actually have new rotors on them. The rotors are completely clean face. There is no lips, there is no blemishes, no marks, scratches, whatever. So they're brand new rotors, but they're the Rev 1 rotors, which means they're the tiny brakes. I think 252 up front, 265 at rear, something like that, compared to 270 and 282 or something of that nature. So they're a good 10 mil shy more front to back, 20 mil shy front to back, compared to the Rev 2 Plus. So again, not ideal, but being they are fresh rotors, I'll use it as a kind of a learning curve. So I might do a video as to the advanced, you know, having brakes, better upgraded brakes, whether I simply go with, you know, Rev 2 brakes, or I go for a full wheelwood kit. I would like to do the wheelwood kit because just better braking in general, massive upgrade. I haven't decided on that one yet, so that'll be another thing. Coming back to that as well, with regards to interior, I'm passing back and forth, sorry. Shifter, that'll have to go. That, I have no confidence in the shifter whatsoever. It feels horrible. So I will be putting in an aftermarket shifter there. That just gives me more assurance of the gears I'm going to go into. I know, because I can feel them as I slide them in. This gives me no confidence. I kept going into third gear, trying into first, because it just was so vague. So yeah, I could just go about replacing a bush here or there, but in the factor where I do need to replace something and there's an upgrade option available, I'm just going to go the upgrade. If it's just an immediate step there, as opposed to a fix and then spend more money later, I'm just going to go straight for that option, because realistically, there's no point spending more when the immediate upgrade is just a much better advantage in the first place. So yeah, I will be spending a bit of money here or there, but the main aim of this car is to be a cheap track car. So on a budget, I don't want to go crazy, dedicated, full-blown, you know, all this sort of thing, trailer park queen, all that, trailer park queen, trailer, back of the trailer queen. So it still can be registered driven on the road. So the interior is not going to be completely stripped out. It will still have carpets, everything like that. Again, this car doesn't have AC, so I do need some insulation. I will be adding more padding underneath in the long term, just to ensure I don't get, you know, heat soak and all that sort of stuff through the cabin and the firewall as well. But apart from that, that's more or less it. So eventually I will get to doing some more proper engine upgrades, but until I've mastered this car in terms of handling and stuff like that, and handling is another factor in itself, because this car does have coilovers, but as soon as you actually lower the car, it changes the geometry. And of course it does that with every car out there. These ones are really susceptible to being a bit wayward when you start to tweak them. So there is a geometry correction kit which can be purchased and installed, fixes all the problems, fixes the foibles? Wow, I'm doing well. Of the rear end, especially on the Rev 1. So that's again another thing I'm going to buy, again, down the track, but if the bushes are all shagged, which I'd have to assume they are by now, then I'll simply go straight for the upgrade regardless, get that sorted. That way I know the car's set for handling. So I don't have to worry about anything else. I'm not going to, you know, break a mount or a bush or anything like that on the track of the day, because they're just that old and fatigued. So yeah, again, spending money where required, saving it on other things otherwise. So I don't think it's a bad plan, but yeah, there will be some weight reduction. Wow. Yeah, I'm going to stop talking soon. There will be some weight reduction, some removable parts here and there, and of course, just a general little few changes, you know, just to accommodate my personal taste, obviously. But of course, just ensuring the car is going to be drivable, decent, and yeah, it doesn't look like an eyesore. So yeah, hopefully that list doesn't expand too much more. We'll see how we go on that one. I think that pretty much does it for this episode. So interesting to see everything that was in the car, everything that was missing, everything that needs doing, and obviously the body does need to be gone over, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. That can live as it is, the way it is. So that's going to do it again today, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. As always, like, subscribe, comment below, etc. This has been Dat Build. Now, get back to your build. Until next time, guys, cheers.